Welcome to the garden. Today I want to share with you some tips on winter composting. And if you don't already have a compost pile, winter can be a difficult time to start. But you want to pick out a spot that's nice and sunny. This is really important in the winter because it gets so cold. In the shade you could be like 30, 40 degrees colder than in the sun. I'm using an old boat that I've drilled holes in at the bottom to leach out extra water. But as we uncover our pile here, before it froze solid, I prepped the location with dry leaves. That way I can get in there and there's some newspaper, and underneath it's not frozen, it's actually quite well insulated. So we want to maybe plan ahead and do this in a few different areas so that you can feed your pile. And I've got a bunch of kitchen scraps here of eggshells and mango skins and coffee grounds and banana peels. You name it, it ends up in the bin. So I just dump it all on, and you want to bring in a watering can inside of nice warm water, and this will help loosen everything up down below, and it cleans out your bin quite nicely. But we're just trying to keep it a little bit warm. That's the key, is temperature, because if it's frozen, it's dead, or at least not active. So I want to do an experiment today where I've got some horse manure, and I've collected this on a horse trail, and I've got some warm water here from inside. This is just hot tap water, and I'm just going to activate it by thawing it out in this water because it's frozen solid. But what this is going to do is all the bacteria, it's going to act like a stomach and hopefully keep the pile a little bit warmer than if it didn't have all these active bacteria. So I'm just going to let that sit in warm water, and we're going to break apart all our food scraps with a nice shovel here. You want to do that to increase the surface area so it can break down a little faster. And while you're doing this, you should throw on brown material, and that's leaves. And if you don't have leaves or sticks, you can actually use newspaper, and you just want to tear it up into leaf-sized pieces like this. Sprinkle it in. You really want to spread these out because they can wad together when they're wet. So we're going to just add a bunch of brown and then chop it in. This breaks up all the eggshells and banana peels, and it works that brown material in so you can get a nice healthy ratio. And you might want to get in there and introduce some air, kind of fluff it up, add some more brown. You really can't get too much brown, but you can really overdo it easily on your food scraps. Alright, so I'm going to inoculate this with some of our little manure tea mixture here. And this will hopefully turn our dormant, cool pile into a nice hot pile. I'm going to just spread it out all over the pile. And hopefully those bacteria will penetrate down and it'll get really nice and active. It may actually heat up to where it's going to start steaming. But then I'm going to recover it with my little makeshift insulation of newspaper and leaves, so that next time we can come in and add even more. A bunch of leaves on top for insulation, and this helps counterbalance our green scraps. So because we're in a nice sunny location, you can do things like cover your pile with a tarp, that'll actually help keep it nice and warm. It's going to insulate it from the snow and the wind and the cold. And then you can weigh it down with logs or rocks, really whatever you've got. Just keep in mind you want to be able to access this easily. You want to be able to get in there and add new cements. And if you've got a decent sized compost bin in your kitchen, you really won't need a lot of trips out to the compost in winter. You should only need maybe 5 or 6 full trips, depending on how much you use and how big your bin is. But that's just a few tips on winter composting. So if you're composting in the summer and you stop during the winter, I hope you give these ideas a go. Or if you're starting a new pile, think about a nice sunny location, something that's not too close to any dwellings, because it may end up smelling if you've got your balance wrong. But it's really easy, so I hope you give it a go. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.